All right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Xfinity race with DES tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Tonight's going to be 110 laps with stages at 15:45. A few things to note: the only black flags that will be cleared are passing under yellow due to wrecked cars and wrecking into the pits. We will not clear black flags for speeding through the pits or unsafe pit entry or exit. During restarts, keep the pack tightened up, laying back on the restart to. Oh, messed that up. Laying back to jump the restart will result in a penalty. When taking the green flag, you must maintain your line until you cross the start-finish line. Good luck, guys.
And what are the stages?
Good evening, friends, fans, family of DESI Racing. Welcome, welcome. Tonight we got 110 laps at Auto Club Speedway in the Xfinity cars. Joining me tonight in the broadcast booth is Jeff Dinda. Jeff, how you feeling tonight, man?
Feeling pretty good. I think our stage setup is perfect for this race with some fuel strategy probably coming into play, and I'm really excited to see these guys in race 4 or 5 of our playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think tonight's going to be exciting. It's a playoff race. These guys know that every point counts. As always, with us, our awesome produces this broadcast, the owner of the league, Damon O'Brien. Appreciate everything you do for us, man. He's going to go ahead and bring up the starting lineup. Jeff, if you want to read those.
Yeah, absolutely. In row 1, Jordan Tross is in position 1. John Crosby is in position 2. Row 2, Max Dinda starting 3rd, and Todd Perront in position 4. Row 3, we have Ben Kuhn and Brandon Hinton. Row 4, Stephen Ouellette and Jonathan Geist. Row 5, Sean Dion and Ryan Godfrey. Row 6, we have Austin Knight. And a couple of cars that didn't qualify. Number 60, Brian Sosa. Donald Calcutt. Both Christian and myself were.
Sorry, it's having some race control deals going on there. Yeah, I'm excited about this race. It's going to be 110 laps, and these stages are going to be at 15 and 45. That last stage, these guys are really going to have to strategize on how they're going to be able to do this. That they can get how many laps on a full tank there, Jeff?
I'm estimating if you run hard, 31 to 32. So that last stage is 65 laps, 32 and a half, average. So, these guys are going to have to stretch it to make that with just one stop.
I think a good strategy they could try and do, Jeff. I don't really know. It's hard when you're not sitting in that driver's seat. But if they're only getting 32 laps on a tank, and they're gonna have to do a green flag stop, if this thing goes green all the way, I would take it easy for the first stint and try to push it out over that halfway mark before I came in and pitted. Maybe try to save fuel as much as I could, hit that pit stop, and then come out and hit it as hard as I could.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't sure if I was going to race or broadcast tonight, so I was sitting here, with my calculator trying to figure out, the optimal strategy. And with 5 sets of tires, right? I mean, you could stop every 22 laps and break it up. But my guess is we'll see some different strategy. I mean, I was thinking to myself, stop at 15, stop at 45. If there's no cautions in that last stage, try to save and break it up with just one stop. And but we may see some 2-stop strategy as well.
Yeah, as lights are off of the pace car, we're about to go green here to start our race number 4 of 5 in the playoffs. Green flag is in the air. Here we go.
2 laps down, starting our third lap of 110. Nothing too exciting going on here. It's got to kind of get spread out. Do you think we're going to see these guys just get spread out more and more, or do you think we're going to end up seeing a couple different packs fighting all night?
Yeah, we've got two kind of in the back of the pack, and I think we may have had an incident pre-race where someone kind of got into somebody else, so maybe those two are hanging back with a little bit of damage, waiting for a stage break to get some repairs. But these guys are 1 through 11, they're fairly tight, but of course my strategy would kind of be to hang out in the back, and you're not going to lose a lap, the first 15 laps for that stage break. So, there's a couple of guys that probably no stress at this point, just to kind of stay in the back. And we're back. We're muting quite a bit here. We've got some off mic discussions. We're just monitoring some cars and some potential issues, maybe some technical issues for some guys. But we're back live and watching the front of the field here, watching them battle it out. Max Dinda is taking the lead. John Crosby in position 2. Jordan's fallen back to P3, and Todd Perrant is in P4, and Brandon Hinton rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, these guys up front, they're kind of swapping positions. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3 are now reversed from themselves. From the starting grid, we now are sitting 3, 2, 1. John Crosby hasn't gained any position and hasn't really lost any position. He's staying where he is. But you can see that they are a little front pack by themselves. Then you got a pack in the middle, and then you got a pack at the end. This track here, it's got a lot of drafting you can pull from the front and the back stretch. It's a 2-mile track, and I feel like this is going to be how they race all night.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, those front 3 have broken out. We have our typical Jordan, Todd, really good at saving. So they've given up a little bit of position from the start of the race, but haven't lost touch with anything. I mean, they're staying up there. And, my guess is those front 3 are definitely, considering, pitting here. Again, we talked about a little bit earlier. I mean, you can pit at 15, you can pit at 45. Still have some tires left for the last stage.
Looks like the 73 John Crosby, he's on the inside, going to try and make a move here, coming into turn 3 on the 48 of Max Dinda. Jordan Dross is going to take that low line and follow him.
Yeah, Jordan definitely likes that low line, for sure. I think, it's hard to say. I mean, the low line probably is going to save your tires here a little better. The high line, you're going to carry a little more speed off and maybe get a better run down the stretches. So it's going to be interesting. John is he's not letting go there.
Yeah, he's going to stay in a line that he feels comfortable with. As you see the 48 Max Dinda running that high line, that is a risk that you take bumping into that wall, and it does scrub some speed. 73, he's just super comfortable down there on the bottom, so he really has nothing to worry about.
And we've already got a couple of comments in the YouTube channel. Mr. Nick Q, good luck tonight, drivers. Hunter Davis has chimed in, let's go. The grumpy old dude is asking, where is the all-female broadcast? Hunter's saying, Earl's onto something here, and I think, We've talked about that in a couple of broadcasts, I think. Edwin was the first one to mention it, and I think we'll work on that. Maybe for one of our exhibition races in the in between the playoffs and next season, maybe we'll try to pull that off. But we're definitely going to need some volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to talk my wife into broadcasting one night. If we can get some other wives or girlfriends or something to do it, I think that would be a blast.
Yeah, and honestly, we could probably promote that on YouTube and get some people to check that out, because I don't know of too many leagues that would that have had an all-female broadcast.
It looks like the 79 has finally secured that first place position, got in front of John Crosby there. They're kind of putting a gap between first and second and the third place of Max Dinda. Looking back here at some of the guys in the rear of the field, I mean, they're all staying fairly close. Like I've been saying, man, it's all these little bitty groups. I think what happens is it can take a lot of time to make a pass here just because of how much speed you can carry, and that slows those two fighting cars down, and that lucky person behind gets a chance to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the 1 through 11 are all in the same straightaway. We've got a couple back in 12, 13, 14, trailing just a little bit. But again, no one really in jeopardy of going a lap down here, as our caution is going to come up in just a couple of laps.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Luckily, we were able to keep everybody on the lead lap here when the caution comes out. We won't have a lucky dog. We're going to go in. You'll see some of these guys get some tires, maybe even get some fuel. Some of these might stay out even, be comfortable with what they have. But our next stage break is going to be at 45. So I think just about everybody's going to pit here.
Yeah, with 30 laps from stage 1 to 2, that's almost a full tank of gas. So I wouldn't be surprised if everyone got gas, and maybe a few will choose not to get tires. But I don't know. I if I was Jordan, as good as he is at saving, I wouldn't be afraid of getting tires at stage 1 and stage 2.
Yeah, realistically, with the amount of tires that we have 5 sets, 110 laps. That's what is that? 21 laps?
22.
22 laps per set. You might as well once you go in, get tires. It's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And we watching the feed here. We're pretty spread out. The tightest pack is kind of in the back now. Ben, Ryan, Brian, John. I mean, they're all running pretty tight in the kind of in the back of the pack, and we're 1 to go.
And there is the caution for our stage break. These guys are going to get lined up, decide whether or not they want to go in, take fuel, take tires, whatever their strategy is going to be. We are going to go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the Sunday night Xfinity DESI racing. Welcome back to the Xfinity series with DESI Racing Auto Club. 18 laps down out of 110. Jeff, we did not have a single accident that first stage. Do you think we're going to be able to keep that up, or do you think some of these guys are now feeling more comfortable, so they might start taking a little bit more risk?
You know, as a new guy in the league, I watched some races before I raced, or I was in some running for Max, and we would have a ton of cautions. But in the playoffs, we've been fairly caution free. So smaller fields, these guys are all being very cautious not to ruin their playoff chances. So I think if we go green this entire race, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it'll really make for a strategy race, as Hunter Davis said in the comments. That tires are going to be huge here. If you can have an extra set at the end, you can drive through the field quick. That I cannot figure out how to save tires on this track, and that is one of the reasons why I really don't enjoy doing this one. I burn my tires up in about 20 laps, and then I have no choice but to take that extra set before the end.
Absolutely, and the pace car is pulled off. We're getting ready to go green at the Geico restart line. We'll watch these guys here for a second and see if Jordan can get a nice jump, and it looks like he does, and Max is right on his tail, kind of following suit. I think everyone took tires there. I mean, there may have been a couple of cars in the back of the field that didn't, and the guys were all chatting out their tire wear to each other, asking questions that, they're all pretty helpful. But none of them are trying to be secretive. Some of the guys who are running up front had a lot more wear than others. So it's going to be really interesting to see, how they play this second stage out. Certainly they have enough fuel to make it to the end. So, no issues with fuel to make it to stage 2.
Yeah, as we've seen there, as those guys came out in turn 4, we have the 28 of Stephen Ouellette. Was coming out of pit road. He has a little bit of damage, said he still has 4 minutes left. He is going to be the only car 1 lap down, and I think that he looks like he's carrying enough speed to where he should be able to stay on the lap he's on and be the lucky dog coming to the second stage.
Absolutely, and some of our races we have stage breaks, some of them we don't. I love the ones where we do have stage breaks because it gives that guy that still has some repairs that needs to be made, make some repairs, fall a lap down. Like you said, he's catching up to the pack, in the back there, so he's not losing any time for sure. So his repairs are not affecting his drive. It doesn't seem like much at all.
Yeah, and if he does this right, he said he's still got 4 minutes of repairs. So he should be able to stay a lap down.
Yeah, and he'll get the lucky dog. Unfortunately, that puts him. You kind of miss that first stop. To get the repairs and maybe come in a second time. With our break. But either way, depending on how he plays it, he may stay a lap down and get extra repairs on that stage 2 break.
Yeah, he can get that lucky dog. Go around, be on the lead lap now, go into the pits, get some repairs done while he's waiting, go another lap, or go a lap down again, let everybody pass him, stay in there, get a little bit more repairs out, and then take off before they go green so he stays on that lap. And just try to ride that out, kind of strategize, knowing you're going to put yourself a lap down, but get all of those repairs made so that way you can come out and fight for the win at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, and he does have some options, so he's not out of this yet, for sure.
I think these guys kind of got something figured out in that first stage here. We don't really see them breaking off into those groups like before. They're all kind of staying close enough to each other to where really there's nothing out of anybody's reach.
Yeah, and we mentioned Steven or Steve. I never know which people prefer. I should ask people for the broadcast, but he's actually passed a couple of cars. So he's not only is he maintaining, but he's made a move on P12 and P13 of Sean Dion and Brandon Hinton.
And look at the 6-year Ryan Godfrey. I mean, he's worked his way up. He just now going in front of the 73, his teammate John Crosby, who was in second place coming out of that stage break. And here he goes, dropping to the bottom. Going to try and make a move on the 13 there. I'm just curious as to if he has just found his groove on this track, or if he's going to end up using more material than the guys that he's passing.
Yeah, I mean it's they're really getting pretty close there. You know, Tanner Honeycutt in P3, he started in gridded in 15th, didn't qualify. He's now in third, and you mentioned Ryan, the 6 car. You know, he gridded 10th, he did qualify. Now he's in fourth. So, like you said, he may have found his secret sauce. You know, running that inside line to pick up some speed. And for just, I've been watching them here for a lap or two, and they're running so tight on these straightaways, it almost looks like a bump draft night at Talladega.
Yeah, it's almost a super speedway style driving there on the backstretch. You can definitely get into the car in front of you and give them a little bit of a push if that's just what they need to kind of help you move along in the process. You know, you get a 3-car group there. You could push the middle guy and then benefit from his draft going around that initial guy in the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just kind of looking through the field, I mean, you know, we're within 2 seconds back to, you know, P8. Next 3 are within 3 seconds. Sean Dion's dropped back to 5 seconds. Brandon Hinton, who's always one of my favorite drivers, even if he's in one of the last positions to call out as a podium finish. So, you know, we'll see what Brandon has in store for us, you know, maybe as these stages break out. But, you know, hey, we've had guys starting 15th that are running in the top 5. So, you know, nothing's out of the question for any of these drivers.
Yeah, Brendan Hinton being back there in 13th, the last car on the lead lap. I don't know if he got into anything. His car doesn't appear to have any damage on it. I think he might just be doing his normal strategy. We're going to see him running in the back. He's going to be saving his tires. He's going to be, you know, cold calculations on that fuel strategy. And lap 27 out of 110, he knows he has a lot of time before he has to do anything.
Absolutely. And, you know, as I'm thinking about the fuel mileage, the stage breaks, you know, Brandon may be playing the game of, you know, hey, let's see how many laps I can run for this stage with my tank of gas for that last stage. And you know, considering that last stage, I mean, you do the hard math, right? It's 65 laps, that's 32 and a half. You know, if you break it up once, but actually, you know, with a stage break, we're going to have a couple of laps of extra fuel. So these guys could actually push it and make it to the end with one stop.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up seeing that if we do go green, if we don't have any cautions, and even if we do have any cautions, I think that first stint of the last stage, you're going to see a lot of guys just hanging out, trying to save what they have. They're going to be, you know, fighting in the beginning to get what position they can before the pack or before the whole track spreads apart. But I think it's just going to come down to strategy on this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, to bring up a comment that our buddy Hunter Davis brought up, you know, let's pretend that last stage we don't have any cautions. Obviously, starting stage 3, you can make a long run, make one pit stop, make it to the end. But if we have a caution in there and you've got an extra set of tires, you know, you can, like you said, you can really rip through the field if, you know, you play it right. So, you know, I think we're going to see 2 different strategies here at the end. And of course, it's going to come down to cautions.
So with that being said, do you think we're going to see anybody go down end of stage 2 and only take fuel, risk going out there on the tires that they have, just because they know that they're in the fuel strategy game and they're going to be off pace anyways, just to save that last set? Or how do you think we're going to see this get played out?
Yeah, I don't think so because, like, you know, we talked earlier. If you just broke it up with tires and you know, pitted every time, you know, it'd be 22 laps. So obviously, first time was 15. Second stage, you're going to stretch it a little bit more. Obviously, we had some caution laps coming out of there, so you get a little, you know, benefit. But I think most of these guys will get tires at stage 2. I'm pretty confident. of course, we could have some, like I said, depending on cautions, you could have some alternating strategies late in a race, fuel only, tires and fuel, maybe just pushing it. But as Hunter said in the comments, you know, you got fresh tires. If there's a caution with 10 to go and you got fresh tires, and someone doesn't, you're gonna eat them up.
Yeah, I think it'd be a smart decision on all these drivers. If they just those late caution fresh tires, I mean, that can win you a race.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we're getting a little bit of you know, these guys are spreading out a little bit. I mean, it's you know, again, 1 through. I'm just trying to look at my in my screen here. 1 through 9, 1 through 10. I mean, you know, they're all in the same straightaway. 11 and 12 are now pulling in the same straightaway. So, you know, no one's really falling behind far enough to go another lap down.
As you see there, had a little bit of an incident. The 40, all I could see was him getting squirrely on the backstretch. Not really sure what happened. Might have gotten it loose or might have had contact with another car, but we do stay green. We have 12 to go before our second stage break, and it looks like Jordan Tross has a 1.5 second lead on P2, Tanner Honeycutt. Do you think that gap is anything to worry about? Do you think if you're in Jordan's position, you just start cruising, or, you know, does the 13 have any kind of a chance in the next 12 laps to close that gap?
You know, second and third do have a chance to close that gap, but you know, I think Jordan. You know, I've watched him enough now to know his strategy is spot. I mean, he's one of the best with strategies, and I think he just knows he's going to push it to this stage break. I mean, you know, he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna have to back it off at all. You know, I'm kind of watching our live feed here. He's kind of running that lower line, and you know, 13 cars also running that lower line. So, you know, I don't think he has any worries about you know, needing to save it all for the end of the stage break.
Yeah, and as you see right here, we got a beer run 1, 2, 3 sitting there in 4th, 5th, and 6th. John Crosby, Ryan Godfrey, Brian Souza. They kind of seemed like they were going to be making some passes there. Passes didn't happen, or they're just cruising, not trying to get into any trouble. At this point in the race with 10 to go before stage 2, if you're sitting in 5th, are you trying to pass that 4th place, get as much points as you can, or are you just trying to save? Can you know, be patient? What would you do in that situation?
You know, that's a great point. You know, with stage breaks, and we talked about this last night in the broadcast, you do get some bonus points. I'm not going to call them bonus points. You do get points for the finish. You know, 1 point may or may not be enough to make a difference depending on where you're at in the standings. But you know, for some of these guys, 1 point could be the difference between a championship and second place. So, you know, they're all being patient, and that's one thing I've learned now that I'm watching and kind of participating in my first full season of the playoffs with DES, is just how patient everyone is, how respectful everyone is. Points matter. So these, you know, maybe race 1 of the season, these guys are going to be battling it out to the very end. But right now, I think they're going to be cautious but optimistic if somebody slips up in front of them.
Yeah, and a couple points I want to hit on. The first thing is the 13. He's going into pit. He's going to pit 10 laps early before the stage break.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just kind of watching him pull in here, I actually had him on my independent feed from the race iRacing setup. But this is a pretty interesting strategy. So I think what he's saying is, you know, he's going to get his lap back. And I think we had a comment in from TRN Racing. That's probably our buddy Edwin. Noticed that Tanner was backing up a little bit to save, and you know, well, he just blinked out. So maybe he had something going on at the house he had to take care of and couldn't finish the race. Yeah, and Jordan just came on the track.
Sure what happened there. He manually disconnected. He was done with the race, so that sucks.
Yeah.
He was running in second place there. But back to what we were talking about there. I don't remember what we were talking about there.
Yeah,
Oh, the
well,
the points. Yeah.
yeah.
So to bring up that what you're talking about with a point might matter to some people and a point might not make a difference. Brandon Hinton last year was our next gen champion, and he beat out Tom Ringer by a single point.
Wow,
So that 1 point can be the difference between champion or runner up.
yeah, and I've got a little joke to make. I think one of the first races I either participated in or watched for Max, I saw that name pop up, Tom Ringer, and I thought, Tom Ringer? I mean, we all know what Ringer means, right? I'm like, is this like a Jimmy Johnson alt? Like, the guy was just dominating the race, and I was like, come on, this guy's a Ringer. Like, who is he really? But, he's one of our great drivers in the league, and I mean, some of these guys, some of these. And then we had a little comment from our broadcaster trying not to laugh there, but you know, it's just amazing some of the drivers we have in this league. I mean, these guys are top notch. I mean, we're coming up on the stage break here in about 5 laps, and I mention this every broadcast I'm in. I mean, we do have a part-time ARCA truck series. He's now done an Xfinity series racer in this league, but I would say if you threw, pick a name out of NASCAR into our league, our guys would battle with those guys right now. If you flip the script and threw one of our guys in their car, it's going to be difficult, right? But I mean, I think our guys would battle with, pick a name from NASCAR. Our guys are going to battle hard with them, and that's some true respect for our league.
Yeah, and speaking of battling hard, I have sat here and I've watched the 48 and the 69 battling it out for laps on laps. Like I said, a pass can take what seems like a lifetime here at Auto Club. You go to make the pass, you'll see like the 69. If he wanted to dive low and try and get on the inside of the 48, well, it's going to take 2 or 3 laps before they can finally close that out.
Absolutely, and I know we haven't seen the point standings. I was looking at it before the race. Max is in that position. I think as we stood at the beginning of the race, he's behind Jordan, right? He needs every point he can get. So Max is not. He's going to fight every ounce that he has to get this one extra point. If he could, he would come up and catch P2 right now and make a pass. But like you said, it could take 2 laps, and we've got basically 3 laps at a stage break.
Yeah, and I think that watching these two battle it out, you see the 6 right there kind of making a lunge. It's going to take him a long time to be able to make anything happen, especially right now. But, if the 48 gets into the wall, that slows them up. But the 6, he's going to take advantage of those two battling each other. He's going to dive it down low to the bottom on the inside of Max Dinda. I don't think he's going to have it coming out of the turn here, but he's definitely going to have a little bit of an advantage over the 69.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Max is in that position. If he wants to catch Jordan, at the end here, he needs every point he can get, right? So, but all of these guys are battling for position. So, we had a brief pause there on YouTube, but it cleared up pretty quick. So, no issues there. I just saw that come on the YouTube feed independent. But yeah, these guys, we're coming up, 1 to go here at the line. So they are. It's a pretty exciting battle.
Last lap before the end of our stage, we have a awesome battle here. The 6 trying to make a pass for second on Max Dinda.
I think he's going to get it. Max will not be able to cross him over.
No, he's not going to have enough momentum here, but these guys are all so close to each other. We'll have to see here what kind of moves are made. He dives it to the bottom. He hits the apron. That scrubbed off a lot of speed. He's not going to be able to take that in the 6. Ryan Godfrey, he's going to, we got a little bit of 60. He's going to be wrecking behind him.
Oh, yeah, Max, it got a little sideways, and, caution is out. It's our stage break, but also, we had an incident there. So that was, wow, these guys, they were fighting a lot harder than I thought they would for that stage point.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not expecting to have a nail-biting finish there for stage points. But that got really exciting. Luckily for the 60, who we'll go back and look at this replay here, got involved in that. I think somebody hit the wall and he had to check up, got sideways. But he had such a big gap on the rest of the field that he didn't even lose position from that. I hope he didn't get any damage.
Yeah, and I was about to comment that the 69 was going to pass Max right when that incident happened.
Yeah, it looks right there. The 69 got into the wall. If the 69 wasn't there, the 48 would have got into the wall. So he just sandwiched Perrant up in there, and the 60 had nowhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just when we were questioning whether or not these guys were going to battle till the end, they certainly did. And made for some exciting racing there at the end of the stage.
Yeah, that's how you want to see all of these races go, whether it's a stage break or the end of the race, these guys battling. But while these guys go around, get ready to go into the pitch, we'll go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back at Auto Club Speedway.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
Welcome back. Lap 48, 110 here at Auto Club Speedway. Lights are off on the pace car coming into turn 3. We will be going green here shortly. Jeff, this race has been exciting. It's been full of strategy calls. It's been full of great racing, man. What are your thoughts so far coming into our final stage?
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome finish, and I just pulled out my calculator again. So we're gonna break down this last stage. Here we're going green. You can make it with one stop. So this is going to be really interesting to see if anyone does that strategy. Was just watching Max repitted, may have had some damage or repair, so he's fallen back. Jordan has come out in P1. John Crosby, Todd Perrant, Brian Sousa, Ryan Godfrey, the top 5. So these guys are. I'm hoping we run clean, and I'm really excited to watch how these guys finish.
Yeah, as you can see here, people kind of wanted to get settled into their groove, but they know that restarts are crucial. I feel that most of my passes I make in a single race are on a restart, usually passing somebody in turn 1 and 2. But these guys are, look, you still got some people trying to make passes there on the front stretch. How important do you think it is to have a good restart and gain as much position as you can before going on a long run?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got a couple of laps where your tires are just ready to rip and run around this track. So, depending on your strategy, what you're playing, I was watching Max there. He was pushing hard to restart to gain those spots back. We're watching, kind of the middle of the pack here. These guys, again, throw a blanket over them. They're 2x2 still.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are battling really hard, but let's go to the comments real quick. What are we taking for bets on finishes? Top 1, 2, 3. Jeff, who do you got?
Well, I posted in the comments, Jordan, John Crosby, and the 5 car of Brandon Hinton. Sorry, that's just my. I was reading Hunter's comment, and I said Hunter's name, but the 5 car. So I said Jordan John 5, just to short my typing while we got back to racing. But I don't discount any of these guys. They are all amazing drivers. Running here in the playoffs. So we'll see how they finish. Let's hear your call.
I think you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what I was going to call. That 5 car, he's been making his way up. Remember, we talked about him. He was in 13th earlier. And with his sneaky ninja skills, I mean, he's been, just making his way up through the field. Now he's sitting in 5th. But I don't want to. As we get some contact back there, looks like the 32, he's going to have some damage. Not sure what happened there. That looked like it was a big hit. We do see green, but
I'm kind of watching this pack on my independent feed. Jonathan 32 just came on to give a quick apology. He might have tapped the wall. I'm not going to lie. 5 cars are one of my favorites. It doesn't matter where he's at the beginning of the race. We're getting some more contact from the 32. Got into the 40 there, and we had a blink on the inside of him. I can throw a bet out on the 5 car to podium, and most of the time I'll win that bet if somebody would take it. Wow, these guys are just. I was kind of watching that pack there. I mean, these guys are not. They're not playing it cool. I mean, they are racing hard.
Yeah, I think don't give it too much longer, and we're going to have a jumbled up top 5. I do, however, think that our top 5 is going to stay pretty much the same. Just the positions they're sitting in right now might get us mixed up. Here we go, the 5. He looks like he's about ready to make a move on the 6, and that's going to swap their positions from the 5 being in 5th, moving up to P4.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just reading the comments, I mean, to continue on, Hunter was commenting why he's not in the race. Honeycutt Racing jumped in and had a comment as well. So I love it when our drivers who aren't in the race jump in and watch the feed and comment. It's exciting to read their comments and for us to talk about their drivers, the teammates, maybe, some other people that they may be rooting for. But it's interesting. We mentioned that evil C word earlier. As hard as these guys are racing at a couple laps in from the restart. Wouldn't be shocked if we had a caution, but wouldn't be shocked if we ran green to the end either. Boy, you know, top looks like Brandon just made a pass on Ryan there to pick up P4, but they're all within a second, 1 through 5, and it looks like Ryan, he's fighting back. So again, this is they're not playing it safe right now. They are going for it.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about earlier with that 5. He's going to sit here and try and make that pass, and it's going to take 2 or 3 laps. But once he gets it done, these guys are going to be sitting comfortable, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to make any moves.
Yeah, for sure. And, we're lap 57. We just crossed the line. So as these tires lead change, looks like John, 73, is taking that position from Jordan, making a move. And, Jordan may be on a different strategy. Maybe he's saving a little more. Maybe not. Maybe John just has the right line for this track.
It's really hard to tell. There's so many variables, especially there's so many lines that you can run on that track. That's why, like I was saying, it's so difficult to actually make a pass here. As you see, the 5, he tried making that pass for a long time, finally was not able to, and decided, instead of burning up my tires, maybe I should back off, and the 6 is able to pull away a little bit. But that's what's going to happen right here with the 73 and the 79. They're going to sit there and they're going to battle. You see the 79, he's got the run on the outside, but the 73 is going to take the low side, which is faster. And they're just going to have to sit here and do this until somebody finally gives in or makes a mistake.
Yeah, and Brian's sitting back there in position 3. He's happy that these guys are battling it out, right? I mean, he's just going to inch up on them if they continue to fight it out. But, it could be these guys are racing hard at the beginning, right? Fresh tires, let's just go for it. Once you realize the caution's not coming out, maybe these guys start backing off a little bit. With Jordan and John, you just don't know what strategy they're playing. But, Jordan obviously has some of the best strategy racing when it comes to tire management, fuel strategy, in our league. There's some others in this race as well. I won't mention them if they're not up front right now, but we may bring them up a little bit later in the race. And just running through the field, looks like Donald may have jumped out. Tanner jumped out. Didn't look like he had any damage, but may have had something else going on at home. But we currently have 12 cars on the lead lap currently running, and no one's in danger of going a lap down at this moment.
Yeah, even any of those guys running in the back, we got a couple people that have some damage. They're just kind of running their race, maybe even conserving tires. They're falling off, to the back of the field, but they, like you said, don't have anything to worry about going a lap down. I think these guys are just going to kind of wait until the perfect time to go in and pit and try to get back out there and battle on fresh tires.
Yeah, just pulling up my calculator again. Let's say 45. Let's say we were close to 48 minus 110, 62. So 31. Around lap 75 is, ish. 74 to 78 is probably when you'd make a stop if we stay green. So we've got a few more laps of that to see, what we have for these guys.
Yeah, that means these guys are going to have to push it as long as they can until they're almost out of fuel. Do you think we're going to see anybody try to push it a little too far and actually run out?
Well, I'm not in a race. That would be me trying to push it to the last, and if you miss your stop and you push it to the last half a lap, and then you're kind of stuck. But yeah, someone, a couple of these guys, I'll just scroll back to the field. Ben, Max, Steven, Todd, they're going to push it to the absolute limit for sure on fuel, I think.
The 5 finally making the pass on the 6, Ryan Godfrey. Now Ryan Godfrey, the last car in the top 5. These guys, I mean, are they slowing down? Are they just conserving what they got? I mean, it seemed like earlier the 5 wasn't able to make that pass, and now he's made the pass with almost a half a second lead or gap between them. What do you think that's from? Do you think he just pushed it harder to finally get that, or do you think maybe he was just saving so that way he could get a pass like that? Look at the run that he's got on the 60.
Yeah, I'm looking at his lap times. He was, lap 50, 41, almost flat, 41.3, 41.1, 2, then he kind of slowed down, 41.4, 41.6, 41.7, 41.8, 41.9. And then that lap he made to pass, he dropped 0.8 off when he made that pass. So he may have been cooling his tires for 5-6 laps, saving a little bit, realizing, hey, I can get this position on this guy. I'm going to pick it back up again, and let's go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you can look at that and go, looking at his lap times, he was fighting. The lap times were getting a little bit slower. But after, you can tell where he slowed down a lot, cooling off them tires, like you said, just getting reset, kind of waiting for a better moment. And then he pushes it back up, knowing that now he's got enough to where he doesn't have to fight like he did the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to pat myself on the back yet because we're not even close to the finish. But, I called out Jordan, John 5. And right now we're currently Jordan, John 5 in the top 3. And I think what the 5 did is he cooled his stuff off a little bit, saved a little bit, and realized, hey, we're all going to pit here at about 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 laps from now. So let's get what I can because I'm going to come in and pit. And if we're green when we pit, let's get as much as we can. And just looking at the front 3, Jordan has the lead. John's about 0.3 back. Brandon's about 1.7. Brian Sosa 2.2. Brian Guffey 3.1. Kind of back in the field a little bit. We're just going to run through some names. Mr. Kuhn, Mr. Dinda, Mr. Perrant, Steven, Austin Knight. Even Sean, is kind of right there with that group. Jonathan Geis is, falling back a little bit, and if there's one guy maybe trying to save a little extra, I would say it's probably the 32 car. I think he had an incident earlier, so he may have some damage as well.
Yeah, I would expect to see him pit maybe one lap before the rest of these guys. I think he saved enough fuel running back there in the very back that he can go in, get what damage fixed that he might have, but also get topped back off and get new tires and get out there and outlast everybody that has to pit right after him.
Sorry, I had my button unpressed, but looking at the front too, 73 cars not letting Jordan get away, so he is right there on his tail, and I think these guys all know they're about ready to make some green flag stops, and where do you want to be? Well, obviously, if you're out front, you get a little bump draft there into the corner. Jordan got a little loose on that, so we'll see if doesn't really affect him here on exit. But these guys are battling hard in front. Oh, Crosby hit the wall just there a little bit. Scrubbed some speed off. So Jordan's take a deep breath and realize his guy he's battling right now for the lead is falling back a little bit.
Now, if you're the 73, when do you pit?
Like I said, my experience in the playoffs, we don't have many cautions, right? So, it's hard to say. I think I'll follow in Jordan if I'm John. You're not going to gain a lot of advantage if you pit one lap earlier, if we stay green and we get a long run. But, I'd probably stay on his tail as long as possible, except Jordan always seems to have a little extra savings. He's probably got his left foot on that clutch more than anybody else when he's trying to save some fuel. So we'll see what they do. And, Brandon's almost 2 seconds back. Brian, they're 3 plus. Max is at 4. Brian's within 4. So these guys are all pretty tight. Todd, he's a little bit further back. So Todd may be saving a little more than everybody else. He may be the one to run a little longer. But looking back here, now we got the feed. I mean, these guys are battling. They're not letting go. I haven't seen anyone really try to save too much.
Looks like here you got a battle between the 6, the 60, and the 48. All three of them trying to make passes, trying to hold what they got.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Max, I'm just pulling up the feed now that you mentioned them. You know, they're kind of side by side. Maybe Max will take advantage of it, maybe not. You know, he that last stage break, they were all calling out their tire wear. I think Max had a little more than some of the others. So maybe he's saving a little more now. Hard to say. But yeah, these guys are, they're tight. And I'll just chime in here. Love the comments from some of our DS iRacing drivers chiming in here. I think Hunter was doing some family work in the house, and Max is trying to make that pass there. Missed the beginning of the race. Honeycutt Racing as well. We love it when you guys join in, watch. You got something going around the house, you know, put it on your phone, listen to it while you're doing something else. And Max may make this pass right now in the 6th car. And I know we've had some comments before on the channel, different races I was either broadcasting or not broadcasting. You know, one of the features we have is our producer can put it on the most exciting action. And right now we're seeing 3 cars really running close there. You know, John is still trailing Jordan, but maybe he's happy with that spot, just waiting for Jordan to pit. You know, but these guys are battling in 3, 4, 5, or actually, sorry, 4, 5, 6, and you know, Max just brushed a wall there as we're watching our feed. But we're coming up on that window. I'm a math nerd, spreadsheet guy, and they're coming up on that fuel window. You know, how do you push it and make it to the end? Well, they're getting close to that, right? And so, if anyone had a chance to pit early to try to break this up into 2 stops, they haven't done it yet. And so these guys, I think, are all, even Jonathan, you know, Austin running in the back, they haven't tried to break this up in an extra stop. They're still running the same lap as everyone else. So, you know, again, we're watching these guys. Yeah, 4, 5, 6.
6, 60, 48 are going at each other like housewives with their claws out. That's a comment from the live stream. I mean, yeah, they're battling. They're swapping positions. They're getting close to each other. I mean, here you go. You got the 6 back up in front of the 48. Now the 48, he's going to try and go and make a move. Like, these guys are just giving it all they've got here.
Absolutely. Love John's comment, battling with their claws out. Even our TRN Racing commander came in a little bit higher. You know, talk about the higher line versus the low line, you know, which has always worked out best in his mind, for sure. You know, for me, the low line is where you want to save your tires. You're going to get respectable speed, but you know, you run that high line, you're going to carry a little more speed. And 48's coming into pit right now, so 75 is about where I thought. And let's see if he can kind of calm it down. Looks like he, looks like he is. 48's coming in. I would not be surprised if we don't have within the next lap or 2 all of these guys pitting. Someone's going to push it for an extra lap or 2. Someone who's saving. But I'll stop talking and let you go.
No, you're good. I was just looking at the 48 went and pitted.
Wow, and that's 73 in the front 2. I mean, he is pushing for that lead. And like I might have said earlier, Jordan's I've watched Jordan some of these races and just trying to figure out his strategy. You know, I've got time to learn and kind of figure out what these guys are doing, and he's one of the best. He could have 3 or 4 more laps extra than someone else on his tires and fuel.
Yeah, watching these guys up front now battle it out is pretty exciting. That 5, he's trying to creep up there. He's just going to wait until they start fighting and slowing each other down, and then you'll see him up there in that mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we talked about fuel strategy. I said 75 was probably where they'll start pitting. Max pitted a little early. We're watching Jordan here on the feed. But, if you were really saving, even during the caution,
The 30, sorry, not to cut you
32,
off, but the 32 did the right thing and called out that he was pitting. He's now going down pit road.
And mad respect, a lot of times you don't. Yeah, it looks like, boy, these guys up front are just getting crazy. And I would not be surprised if they didn't stop pretty soon.
It's going to be interesting to see who out of these two pits, that's not even the battle that we're watching right now that they need to worry about. It's going to be that pit strategy. Who's going to come down and get more fuel and tires first? 73, he's called that. He's pitting.
Yeah, they may come in together. So Jonathan, Max have already come in the pit, so they've got fresh tires, fuel. They probably what are we at 80, 110? So they probably have enough to make it to the end. If we have a caution, maybe they can gain some position before that happens. Maybe not, but watching these leaders come into pit, it's getting pretty exciting. And there is, just switch my feed. Jordan, like I said, he's one of the best at kind of saving a little extra than everybody else. He's running a Camaro, which is what I run, so I don't know. He's really good at it.
And there he goes, our race leader, 79, going down pit road. DES does have few rules. We're not a super picky league, but one that is a written rule that I don't see a whole lot of people following is calling out that you are pitting. That's one thing and it's never an issue until somebody gets hit because the person behind them didn't know they were going down into the pits.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's mad respect to call out your pitting, right? Because maybe you're looking at your screen, the guy's 5 seconds back, you don't think it's an issue. But just call it out, because you never know. I mean, someone's running really low line right on the apron, and you're slowing down the pit, and just call it out. Let everybody know what you're doing. We're watching these leaders. They're pitting. Brandon Hinton is just taking a lead. He's definitely got a little momentum there, coming out at a full head of speed, but I don't think these guys are going to completely give up here. And I wasn't paying attention. I don't think Brandon has pitted yet, but maybe he has.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look here. The 73, John Crosby, he had what seems like a really long pit stop.
Yeah, and our producer chimed in. Brandon and Max. I know Max pitted. Brandon is probably pitted. They came in a few laps early, and as our commenter said earlier, Hunter, new tires are laser fast, right? So those guys picked up some time, back there in the field on the leaders, and they pulling out to Brandon's in first, Max second, Jordan's 1.9 seconds back from Brandon, but Jordan has just passed Max, it looks like, for P2. But boy, if this stays green, coming in early is great, but you're going to lose a little at the end. But if we have a caution, it's all going to kind of work itself out Oh, and 73 just hit the wall pretty hard there in front of the 5 car.
Yeah, got a comment says not calling your pit can be a strategy. I call it only in traffic. I understand the strategy aspect of it. You know, you want to pit and not let others know that you're going to go and pit. But, I mean, we do have it written down as a rule, and it's really more of a safety to other cars. It's strategy out the window, letting people know that, hey, I'm going to go pit. I'm going to be low. Don't come throwing it down towards the apron, you know, wide open. Because when we do wreck, then whose fault is it going to be on? The guy that ran into the guy pitting, or the guy that didn't call his pit? So that's both perspectives, and I get it.
Yeah, totally agree with Cheney. I mean, it's a strategy. I find myself a lot of times running longer, so I'm the leader. And when I called out, maybe they're not around me, but give those guys maybe a breath of relief if I have them all lapped down and I'm just running long because I'm kind of in last place and let's just run long anyways. But it's respect, I think, for our fellow drivers to let them know. And like you said, I mean, you don't want to be you don't want to cause a caution, even if the guy behind you doesn't hit you, but he has to, lift or maybe he hits a wall or something else. Just call it out. And Brandon here is still in the lead. Jordan's not far behind, and Max has fallen back like 5-6 seconds here. So Max may be pitted a little too early. He's looking at his fuel gauge and says, "Hey, I won't make it unless I save." Ryan's 10 seconds back. Brian is also 10 seconds back. So if we go green, I think everyone can make it. Max, I think, pitted first, so he's probably the only one in question, which is probably why he's saving. But, Brandon, Jordan, these guys are going to battle it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon actually did pit. He pitted 2 laps before the 79, so he's in first with no, real plans of giving that up through like pit stops or anything. He's going to have to make Jordan fight to take that spot from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just kind of scrolling back through the field. The 73 is 38 seconds back from the lead. He may have picked up some damage. He scrubbed the wall before he pit. Maybe he sat in there and got some repairs, and he would certainly be hoping for a caution at some point here. I'm looking at the 69 cars in 7th place. 14 seconds back. I know Todd's really good at saving tires and fuel. I just don't know if we're going to see a caution, right? So, sometimes what you have is what you have, and Jordan's kind of, battling up there on the 5 car, but we'll see.
Yeah, you see the 73. He's actually that car that's in front of the 5. He's just hoping to hold on to that lead lap position there, but I don't know exactly what happened. I went back and looked at it, and he did have a really long pit stop. So I'm not sure if he got speeding on pit road or what happened. But he didn't look to have any damage, so I don't think he was getting any damage fixed. Oh, it's 79. He's making a move on Brandon Hinton for the lead. Brandon doesn't seem like he's going to fight him that hard. He's just going to let him have it, knowing, if he fights him for right there, he's going to burn up some tire that he needs to save.
Absolutely. I think George just came on the radio and said thanks for the easy pass. 5 came in earlier. Maybe he's right on the window of his fuel saving strategy, which, hey, if, you can save a little and still finish. I mean, back to P3 is a pretty big gap of 11 seconds. So he may be content with where he's at. Talking about the 73 car, he was getting a little loose at the end of that run and might have clipped the wall a little hard. We just, maybe he got some wheel damage and we don't know about.
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. There is somebody in the comments that said he was loose earlier. So I do wonder now if maybe he didn't have some damage and I just couldn't see it getting repaired from from the camera angle I had, but he was in there for quite a while, and now he's doing everything he can just to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's in a spot where if he happened to fall down a lap and a caution came out and he can get some more repairs if that's what he needs, he's fine. But he obviously is going to try to battle to stay in front of these guys. But as we're watching, these guys kind of back a little bit. I mean, Jordan's now pulled up almost a second lead on Brandon. Ryan Godfrey, 11 seconds. Brian Sosa, Max Dinda, 12 seconds back. Ben Kuhn, Todd Perrant. They've fallen back a little bit, but caution comes out, everyone gets fresh tires. It's an equal field. I mean, these guys can battle out. If we play this fuel strategy out, some of these guys, they know they can click on their button and see, I've got X laps left and we have X laps left in a race. Let's see if I can make it, if I save a little.
Now look at this. I mean, this happened quick. I didn't even see when it did happen. But right now, if you look, Max Dinda, who was in third, he was only 9 seconds behind there just a couple laps ago. Now he's 13 seconds behind and in fifth place. What do you think happened there?
I wasn't watching Max's feed, but he could have brushed the wall, maybe scrubbed some speed off, but he was the first guy to pit, and I think Max doesn't run any overlays. He's just using the iRacing fuel gauge. He may realize, hey, I don't have enough to make it unless I save, and that's totally fine. I mean, you get a late race caution in P5, P6. And everyone gets fresh tires. You can fight it out. So he may just be realizing he doesn't have quite enough to make it, but he could have also banged a wall and we didn't see it.
Yeah, so our current look right now with 93, about to be 94 laps complete this time by. There they go as the leaders cross that start-finish line there on the front stretch. 94 laps down, we have Jordan Tross P1, followed by Brandon Hinton in second, Ryan Godfrey sitting in third. That is your current podium look. I mean, does anybody really have anything they can do at this point? Or do you think it's just going to be cruising?
Yeah, it's a long run, right? I mean, this is going to be a long run, and I'm picking up on the comments here. Izzy commented, Ryan Godfrey, sorry, wherever that may have been when you said it, my husband back to third. John hit the wall a couple times that I saw. That could have been Max or somebody else we were talking about. Battle for 6, China Highway. Battle for 6 is now pretty clear, so we probably missed that. I was probably watching my feed more than the comments. But if I'm going back up to Jordan's got enough to make it to the end, right? Jordan's going to save tires, so if we run green, not shocked if Jordan wins the race. Brandon pitted a few laps early. He's definitely got enough to make it. Ryan, Brian, Max, Todd. Max is probably the only one with the question mark. What does he have to save to make it? But again, caution free. That's one thing. If we have a caution, which I don't expect to happen, that'll shake things up a lot.
You have some drivers out there who are hoping for a caution, and you have other drivers out there that would be furious if a caution came out right now. You look at the 73 of John Crosby. If a caution comes out right now and he's still on the lead lap, that's perfect. He gets tightened back up. He's not having to see the leaders in his rearview mirror. You got people, just the top 5. I mean, with the tires and the fuel that they've got, that is just something that they don't want to see. Sure, they could save more fuel under caution, but you've got a comfortable gap here. The 79, he's got a comfortable lead on Brandon Hinton. He's not going to want to see that field have to tighten back up again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we mentioned, 73 is now past the 7 car, so he's putting himself in position if one of them falls a lap down. If a caution comes out, he's safe. But Max probably now in P6 is the the one guy who really wants a caution. Obviously, Austin, John, Sean, Steven, Ben, they want cautions as well, to kind of get things reset. But I don't think we're going to see it. And Brandon, he's fallen back into P2, 15 laps or so ago, and he's comfortable. He's got a 10-second plus lead on Ryan Godfrey in P3. So, no sweat on the guys in 1 and 2, right? And as I'm watching, 10th place, 11th place, they're getting close to the leader. Maybe in another couple of laps, he's going to catch them.
Yeah, I think that if we stay green here, we are going to end up having a little bit of lap traffic getting involved into the mix. And, that's something the leader doesn't want to see. Hopefully, to his benefit, they kind of move out of the way or don't hinder him any. But, I mean, they have the right to fight to stay on the lead lap at this point. I don't know if that would really do any benefit here. But
Yeah,
that's just something the leader doesn't want to see. The 5 would love to see the leader get held up.
Yeah, and as I'm watching back in the field, the tightest race right now is the 6 car and the 60 car. They're battling in P3 and P4, right? So they're the closest two on the track right now as we kind of cycle through to watch them on our live feed. These guys, I've been watching them for a couple of laps just because I see on my feed, my independent feed, who's close to what. And I know our producer has all the magic sauce on his screen. And he chimes in to us. You guys can't hear him when a lead, a pass is being made or whatnot. But these guys are battling hard, but they are still, 14, 13 seconds back from the leader.
Yeah, well, these two guys, the Ryan Godfrey and Brian Souza, they are teammates. They both drive for Beer Run Racing, so they're in their chat right now. They're talking to each other. They don't want to force an issue. They don't want to battle it out and risk wearing out their tires and having Todd Bront catch up to them. They know that they got 9 laps to go now. If one of them's faster than the other, they'll communicate and say, hey, man, you're faster. Go ahead and go around. But they're not going to do anything to risk the positions that they have. They're going to be, cordial and good teammates and just kind of run their lines.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I mean, we have teams in our league, DSI Racing, and we know they have separate channels that independent of the track feed that they can communicate with each other. And also, 8 and 9 are also pretty close to each other back there. But for the most part, we're pretty spread out. And as you mentioned, the teammates are, I don't expect teammates to wreck each other. They're going to have respect. They're going to be communicating. And depending on their strategy for the playoffs or for the race, I expect that to be clean. And, Brandon's still a second off the leader, Jordan. And, I know Jordan can make it. Brandon, Ryan, Brian, Todd, Max is probably a question mark if he can make it. And he's fallen back into P6. Maybe the 40 car will catch Max and pass him if Max is really saving.
Out of the top 5, the person with the least amount of laps since pit stop is going to be Todd Perron. He is 22 laps versus 23 of the 2 in front of him, 24 of our second place, and 22 of Jordan Tross in first place. So if anybody's going to be able to make it out of our top group up there, it is going to end up being Todd Perron. So let's see if him staying out as long as he did is going to work for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the 2 guys in front of him are obviously the easy candidates to catch if they have to start saving. But, unfortunately for these guys kind of back in the field, if we don't have a caution, which I don't think we will, the P3, P4, P5 is probably the battle to watch. Yeah, and
go ahead.
yeah, John just commented maybe a few seconds ago. A caution could pull, put 3, 4 contending for 1 through 3. So I agree with that. I mean, I don't expect it. You never know. But again, if we have a caution, all these guys are going to get fresh tires, fill up, whatever they need to finish the race, and would make for exciting battle. And if we don't get a caution, we may be looking at our 1, 2, and then we'll see what happens with 3, 4, 5.
You think if a caution comes out this late in the race that everybody's go down pit road?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, if Jordan said, "Hey, I'm going to stay out. I got enough to make it to the end." Whatever position 3, 4, 5 has fresh tires, we'll probably eat them up.
I think if a caution comes out right now, they're going to have to. We're going to have all of those caution laps, and that's going to lead to a green-white checkered, meaning that when the field goes green again, we're going to have 3 laps that they're going to have to complete. So all of those pacing laps, plus the 3 laps to finish the race, I don't know if anybody's got that much fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just talking about John Crosby earlier, he's getting into the clutches of our leader, Jordan Tross, but he's going to battle as much as he can to stay on his lead lap. I mean, it's one thing to be a lap down, get the lucky dog, you got to kind of pit a little late. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you get your lap back, you get on the lead lap, but, if he can stay on this lead lap, he's going to battle, right now. And Brandon's still like 1.8 back, so we'll see. But, again, Ryan, Brian, Todd, Max is falling back into P6 quite a bit off. So, if we're going to have a battle, it's 3, 4, 5. And I don't think Jordan's in any hurry to pass him right now.
Man, I got to say, it is impressive that these two have stayed together this long. The 60 hasn't passed. The 6 hasn't gapped him. They're just running a consistent line next to each other. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah. And it's hard, right? You're at the end of a long run, maybe saving fuel, maybe not, but your tires, regardless of what you're doing, are wore out. So, I mean, it's, he's getting, the 60's getting pretty close to the 5 car. So we'll see, if the 60 car can if Brian can make a pass here, or if he's just content with P4. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I feel like he might be content with what he has here. P4, you might be outside of that podium position range, but P4 is still really good. There's so many good drivers out here, especially these guys that are pushing for playoffs, and I think P4 is an awesome finish.
Absolutely. If I was racing tonight, I'd be happy with the P10. So, P4 is phenomenal. And then, just watching these guys, I mean, they're getting a little squirrely, but, mad respect for these guys. They're not going to push it and wreck each other on the last lap.
Yeah, I consider myself lucky if I'm able to finish on the lead lap.
Yeah, you and me both, my friend.
Or even more impressive if I finish with my faster pair still.
No, I wish that would gain you an extra couple of seconds, but it doesn't. And
here we are,
got
final lap.
Yeah.
The winner, Jordan Tross, coming across the start-finish line right now. Followed by Brandon Hinton. Big gap between the second place and the third place finishers. If the 60 is going to make a move, the move needs to be now. He's just going to follow his teammate in. We have the 6 of Ryan Godfrey securing his first podium position. The 60 of Brian Souza. Todd Perront in 5th. 6th place Max Denda. Ben Kuhn 7th. The 3 of Sean Dion in 8th. Stephen Ouellette in 9th. Your 10th place finisher, John Crosby.
Yeah, great race by Jordan. Not shocked by that result. I know this is going to make our standings pretty solid for Jordan coming into our last race of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here, we got our sixth place finisher, Ryan Godfrey, coming into the booth. And man, Ryan, that was a display of racing, dude. Congratulations, your first podium position. Tell me, man, what did you have to do to get to where you got?
Honestly, just not wreck. That was my mindset going into this because this track is absolutely difficult. But yeah, I was just trying not to wreck that entire time. I got squirrely in a couple areas, but Brian at the end there really helped me out. Just kept pushing me. So teamwork makes the dream work.
Congratulations! I did not know was your first interview podium finish. Congratulations! I hope if I ever get a top three, we have broadcasters so I can just rub it in Max's face. But again, congratulations! That was an amazing run.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, our rookie driver for your run. This is your first season, your first podium, man. I mean, going forward, I think we're going to be seeing you up here a lot. You've got some really good speed. Now, your strategy you had before you came into the race, were you able to stick to that, or did you have to kind of change as the race went on?
Really, my strategy is just to listen to whatever John Crosby says, and typically it works out, and it did this time. And coming into the later stages, as Jeff, you were saying, I was like, man, I really hope I can just chill and hopefully get a podium and hop on the broadcast and talk to them. But if it wasn't for Brian, because I had no strategy going into this, I don't like Auto Club, but if it wasn't for Brian pushing me, I don't think I would have placed where I did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That teamwork is awesome, man. Congratulations on your P3.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Our second place finisher, my personal favorite driver, the 5, Brandon Hinton. Man, you did it again, Brandon. You went from P6 to somehow the first car or the last car on the lead lap to finishing in second. Dude, what do you do out there?
Well, stupidly, I didn't take tires after the first stage. So made it a little more difficult on myself. But yeah, just worked my way up and pitted at that last run. I pitted like a lap or two before Jordan to see if I could leapfrog him, and I did. But he was just faster. Credit to him, and that sucks that Crosby got a speeding penalty. That he was up there. He was fast too. But all in all, great run, and we'll take that finish.
Hey, Brandon, I'm going to jump in here. You know, when I do the broadcast, if there's one driver they say throw $1 on to finish on the podium, it's always you, and you don't disappoint. So congratulations on finishing second. I don't think you qualified. I know that's the strategy. I love that strategy, and congrats on P2.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I qualify, sometimes I don't. I actually did tonight. I think I got 6th or something like that. But usually you're right. I'll start in the back and kind of work my way forward. It's just the way I drive. I just like to take my time, let the tires come in, and then see what I can do after that. So that's kind of the strategy. But thank you.
Some of us rookies watch you and are learning from you.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I put my videos on there, and a bunch of people have said that they've taken some things from it. And and if that's the case, then that's even better. That's what it's all about. So I learn from people as well. So it's a good community, and that's the way you do it.
Yeah, DS is a great place, especially for beginners who need stuff to learn. And speaking of learning, man, something I've got to take from you is strategy. Obviously, you had a strategy in mind. You come in the first stage break, you don't take tires, and it seems like you had to adjust, what your strategy was, and you seem so comfortable doing it. How do you manage to do that by coming in with a strategy in mind and then adjusting mid-race?
Yeah, and that's what I do in the practice. I kind of figure out, okay, what's a tank of gas? What's the stages? Do we not have stages? Okay, you got to put all that into play beforehand, so you're not trying to drive and figure this out as you go. Sometimes you'll get a caution, you have to rethink it, but that's what I do in practice. I'll think about certain scenarios and things I want to do. Now, like I said, it wasn't a smart play not taking tires at the stage one. I should have, so that bit me. But no, I just go through the practice session and think about what ifs and how long I can go and what that would look like, what a run on your tires will look like, and things like that. So I just prepare for that and go as forward as need be.
Well, awesome, man. That's something that I definitely need to spend more time picking your brain on, because it's really impressive how you're able to do it, man. Well, congratulations on your second place finish, man. We got one more race left in the playoffs, and I feel like we're going to be talking to you again.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate what you guys do, and congrats to Jordan on the win.
Awesome, man. So our next in the booth, we're going to bring up the race winner, Jordan Tross. Again, winning. I don't know how many races this wins. I can't count that high. But man, congratulations again on a hard fought win, Jordan.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Now, when you went out there, I mean, you seemed like you lost some position early, got your position back, might have been fighting for some. I mean, you just it didn't seem like at first that win was going to come easy, but then there at the closing of stage 3, you had a huge gap. I mean, like, what did it just click for you in the end, or was it the strategy that played off?
Well, I do really like this track, and I'm pretty good with tire saving here. And right out of the gate, I knew that they were probably going to push fairly hard, so I kind of backed off, ran my own pace, and tried to give it a little bit of a push at the end to try to win the stage, and it just worked out for stage 1. And then I think stage 2, they tried to take a step back and save a little extra tire and try to follow me, and maybe they just saved a little too hard. I don't know really what happened. I'll have to watch it back. But it gave me a big lead there. And then in stage 3, I think they'd followed me and learned enough, especially John Crosby there. He was right on me the whole run, and he was making me honest that whole run. And Brandon ended up catching us right before the green flag pit stop, and it was a lot of fun trying to battle them. I think John Crosby was pretty dead even with me most of that final run, and unfortunately, it looked like he sped on pit road, and that's what caught him on the track today, and he had a 40-second hold on pit road, so he went a lap down, and that was all for him. But Brandon had a great race. It was fun to race him, and I was impressed with his speed there on the long run.
Absolutely, Jordan. And the guys in the chat in the YouTube channel were asking for our 1, 2, 3 finish. I said Jordan, John, and the 5 car. And unfortunately, John had like you said, a speeding penalty. But you kind of finished that out. I wish I could bet money on these races, because I would have won some money betting on you. But you always have the most amazing fuel tire saving strategy. I know you like to run that bottom line. No secret there. But congrats on the win. And I think you got a pretty solid lead on Max. Was in second coming this race, and Max finishing 6th. So congrats to you tonight, and rooting for you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Should be fun next week. I do think with the addition of a drop race in the playoffs, I'd have to... I might have it locked up. We'll see. I don't know what the points will look like. We'll see after Monday when they're all posted and set, but I think it'll be a good fight either way. It's been a lot of fun this season.
Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations on the win, man. Next week is the last week of the playoffs. You are sitting.
You might have clicked out, but if you can still hear us, Jordan, congrats. Awesome finish. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Well, for everybody that joined the broadcast, Jeff, Always a pleasure to have you up here, man. You're becoming one of my favorites. Damon, love the broadcast, how you put it on, keep adding stuff and making it awesome. And to the fans, I love that you guys are coming into the comments and putting stuff so we can communicate with you guys and keep that up. Let us know what you're seeing on track. If there's things that we missed, love hearing from you guys.